Hi, I'm Andrea from Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Center, and I'm here today to share with you how to make this cute little wish tree decoration. Wish trees are things that can be found in lots of cultures around the world, and as the name implies, it's usually a tree, maybe a special kind of tree or a tree in a special place, that people go and visit. And while they're there, they kind of reconnect and express desires and wishes. Sometimes they'll write their wishes on a strip of fabric and tie it to the branches of the tree, hoping that their wish will come true. This little wish tree that we're going to make, we'll be making from recycled seed paper. So it's recycled paper that has native grass and flower seeds from Spring Creek Prairie in it. So we'll cut it out, write some wishes on it, put a few decorations. I'll show you how to put it together to make it three-dimensional. Then in the spring, you can take this little tree outside and plant it right in the ground. Just bury it and water it. The paper will dissolve, release the seeds, and then you'll have some beautiful native grasses and flowers growing up to remind you of your wishes. Let's get started. Okay, here we are, ready to go. So these are the tools that you'll need. You should be able to find these around your house. Some scissors, Scotch tape, or glue. You can use either one of those. A few markers or crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have, and your seed paper. Now, you can use any kind of paper, and you can make this any size. But what we're going to do today, this seed paper is the size of a postcard, and I've drawn two trees on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start to cut them out. Actually, I'm going to cut that right in half first, just to make this a little bit easier to handle. You can use, again, any kind of paper. If you are using this seed paper, just note it's a little bit thick. Actually, it's quite thick. And the seeds are really hard, and so it's a little bit funny to cut. But just work your way through it. Just cut slow and save all these little pieces that you end up cutting off, because look, there's seeds in there. There's a seed in there. So you want to save that and make sure you plant that, okay? So keep cutting, and you will end up with two trees like this. Then I made a mark on both of these trees, and one of them is 2 inches from the top down to the middle. So that one is 2 inches. And this one I measured up from the bottom, and that is 1 3/4 inches. So just a little bit less than 2 inches. And what we're going to do here is cut a slit in our tree. This one you cut down from the top right down to, there I cut through a seed, that was hard. Right down to that mark, okay? And then this one, we will cut up from the bottom to that mark, okay? Then I'm going to show you how these slide together, how they fit together to end up being three-dimensional like that. So where you cut up from the bottom, that tree slides into the one that was cut down from the top. And they just slide together, just like that, okay? Pretty cool, huh? Now, at this point, just take a look at it and see where you have room to write, okay? It's not a very big tree, so you're a little bit limited on writing space, but just take a look at that, then pull them back apart, and now we're going to write our wishes and decorate our tree. So for your wishes, let's just think for a minute about wishes. Some wishes are very specific. Maybe there's something in particular that you really want, or some place that you'd really like to go. Or wishes can be a little bit bigger. Maybe you wish for something for another person, or for another for an animal, save the whales. And then maybe you have some wishes for the world. So you can write big wishes, you can write little wishes, you can do one, you can write as many as you want. Maybe if you're working on one tree for the family, maybe everybody gets to put a wish on there. And how I chose to do it was I wrote my wishes along the edges of the branches. You could also write it going up like that, just right in the middle if you have more. So that was how I wrote mine. And like I said, you can do as many as you like or as few. And maybe that's all the further you want to go with your decorations. Maybe you just want it to be words, and that's fine. Or if you want to add a little color, you can use your markers or your crayons. I may put some brown down here on the bottom, and then I just put a dot of color on the end of each of those branches and a little bit right at the top. So that was how much I decorated mine. Then we will slide these together. Okay. Now, at this point, you might notice that these like to go like this, and then it's not three-dimensional anymore. So this is a point where you do have to use a little bit of glue, and you can put, what I would recommend is a little glob of glue right at the top and in the same crease right at the bottom. Then go to the opposite crease and put a dot of glue up in the top and up in the bottom. You can, like I said before, you can also use tape. It's just that when you go to plant them, you probably want to take them apart and just take the tape off of it anyway, so that you don't have that tape in the soil. So you will end up with it staying together. This one doesn't fold up, so it stays together. And then I also glued just a little ribbon that I found around the house. You can poke a hole in the top and just run a string through it, whatever you have that's laying around the house. So there we have our wish tree decoration. Now, the hardest part of this is going to be remembering that you have this in the spring, especially if you put it away. Please enjoy it for this holiday season, but remember where you put it, and remember where you put all those little tiny pieces, so that in the spring you can take it out, plant it in the ground, and have some beautiful native grasses and flowers in your yard, reminding you of your wishes.